Welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast, now part of the All City Network. Hit the subscribe button for YouTube and also become a DLLS diehard at www.alldlls.com. Now here's Jeff and John. Hey everybody, welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast. This is episode number 20, and today, Texas Rangers left-handed pitcher Robbie Ahlstrom is going to join us. He came along in that Jose Trevino trade in 2022. Robbie's been spent last year in AA and AAA. He's an arm to watch. And Jeff, you got some personal notes on running into him this offseason. But hey, hit that subscribe button down below. Go over to DLLS_sports. Hit that subscribe button for everything All City Sports. Become a member over there. They've got the Mavericks, the Stars, the Cowboys. TCU, Jeff's covering TCU for him over there. A lot of good sports stuff. It's a great place to get all your sports if you're doing it. Live shows every day that you can watch. But hit ours here for that. Jeff, you're there. How long? What have you been there? 3 days now?
I've been here since Tuesday night. Yeah. Today was day 3 of camp.
Right.
So we got that finished up, and every starter has thrown except for Jacob deGrom, and he's going to throw tomorrow, which is Saturday. So, everything's good, knock on wood. The injury situation's good. Everybody's in good spirits.
One little Rodriguez, was it? Had some tightness?
Robert Garcia with some nerve irritation, but he threw off the flat ground today, and Rangers aren't particularly worried about that. So, I mean, it's looking good.
Knock on wood, if that's all it is. I mean, look, these guys are going to get sore. Things like this are going to happen. It always does. When do position players report?
The first workout is Monday. A lot of them have shown up.
I knew that. I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's not really an official report day anymore. Like it used to be celebrated. This is when they report all this stuff, and it's just. Now they don't even do that. I don't know why MLB would do something like that, but they did. And so, anyway, if you're old school, report day is Sunday, and it should be good. But again, a lot of them are here. Who showed up today? Josh Young showed up today. Evan Carter showed up today. Some of the guys who are going to try to make the team on non-roster deals like Nick Ahmed and Alan Trejo showed up today. So more and more bodies every day in the clubhouse, as is the case every spring. But I'm suspecting tomorrow and Sunday or Sunday will be the first time we see Wyatt Langford and Corey Seager and Adolis Garcia. Jake Berger also still hasn't reported, but I think that's understandable with some medical uncertainty, with his daughter. She's facing a heart surgery coming up, so he probably wants to spend a lot of time with her and all that stuff.
Sure. Yeah, he's about to have a long season, and that they got that young one, the baby. She's cute as can be too. So I don't doubt that. So spend as much time as you can before you got to get here, because once you get to work, it's a busy season.
It is, and he will leave the team. The surgery's set for March, so he'll leave the team for a few days.
Understandably.
Go back to Nashville. She's having open heart surgery. It's not like she's just having.
Yeah, this is the little girl that has Down syndrome, and I think this is kind of procedural with a lot of kids that have Down syndrome. I think they have little heart things in there. But it doesn't take away. It's a heart surgery. Good God.
Right.
And she is just adorable. So yeah, that's good. And the Rangers obviously are going to be like, yeah, get home. We'll see you back here. Go take care of the family. Always been that way with everybody. So what have you seen? Tell me, we've had our little talk about one of the things you're going to look for when you see out there. You're going to try to see who is taking some ground balls at first base. Well, Jock Peterson was taking some ground balls at first base. Now, nobody's really reported yet, but so when they really get going, like I said, I want to watch that to see who else is doing it. But that's a name we kind of figured might get a game or two in over there.
Yeah, he's done it in his career. Not a lot, but it's another opportunity for a guy to not be just a DH. And they were talking about he's going to play some outfield for him. If he can play first base, give Berger a day off against a tough matchup or something like that, then might as well do it. I mean, it's really a position that the Rangers don't have a backup at. And I'd floated there, Dustin Harris. He's been out here for a while. I haven't watched those guys do a whole heck of a lot. It's either been when guys are pitching or after everybody's kind of left for the day. So today I just saw Peterson did have a first baseman's glove. Um, he was running when I got to him, and just knocking the knocking the rust off, I guess. But Josh Young was there. Josh Young, unlike last year, did not get hurt today, so that's a good sign.
Knock on
Um,
wood.
Knock on wood. He was on our show a few weeks ago, so we can make fun of him now. But anyway, yeah, it's just a real. It's been a real easy 3 days so far. I mean, guys are working hard, but from a perspective of drama or anything like that, there hasn't been any.
And Robbie Ahlstrom, this is a name that's kind of a guy that's not really talked about, who had an amazing year last year. So this is a
Yeah.
bullpen. Look, with an uncertain bullpen, he's obviously not a closer candidate, left-handed pitcher, but this is a guy who worked out of the bullpen last year in Double-A and Triple-A, had some pretty good numbers. This is a guy that can make a big league debut this year.
Yeah, the Rangers lost some guys over the offseason through waiver claims who had options, relievers who had options. Grant Anderson, Owen White come to mind off the top of my head. So somebody needs to fill those shoes. You saw the Rangers last year. They went so far into the not so far into the farm system, but I don't think anybody had Gerson Garabito pitching innings for this team last year. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that some people had him getting designated for assignment. I mean, I don't want to be a jerk here, but I just would have thought that Gerson Garabito would have had an easier time getting through waivers than Owen White. But it is what it is, and he's here. But the point being, though, is that um, he's Alhstrom and guys of that ilk, the non-roster invitees, these guys who are on non-roster deals, they have an opportunity to make their major league debuts, and it's important for the team to have a bunch of guys they can rely on who have options. Because you're going to have probably five guys who you don't want to option, or who can't be optioned. Robert Garcia can be optioned, but Hobie Milner, Chris Martin, Brandon Webb, and Sean Armstrong can't be options. So,
Right.
That's four guys who are locked in. And then, depending on how many long guys you have, and um, there's probably only three spots that are open right now, and you want to be able to keep those flexible, but at the same time, two of them might be long guys, as the Rangers try to figure out what they're going to do to monitor starters' innings, like DeGrom and potentially Rocker if he makes the team, and and Tyler Mahle. So, you know, but there is going to be opportunity. Now Robbie's not on the 40 man, so that's
Right.
that's one strike against him. But um, when if he's good and the Rangers need somebody, they have shown that they will go get whoever.
Yep.
And Gerson Garabito, who was out of affiliated baseball for 2 years until last year, and made his major league debut at age 28. Uh,
Got
that's
the
a
nod
that's a
over Owen White.
shining example of the Rangers going and getting whoever has earned it.
Yep. Hey, they're in win now mode. This is a win now team. This is not a let's develop these guys and see what's going to happen. Chris Young says it. Bruce Bochy isn't here to develop anything. Bruce Bochy's here to win championships. And by
Yeah.
God, he wants who can win. And player be damned if it's somebody that was highly touted, but he's not helping. You might be a candidate for a DFA and having to clear waivers because they're going to win now. That's what they want to do.
Yeah, there's no question that I bet that our buddy Cole Wynn, I bet his eyes were wide open after hearing that Owen White was designated for assignment.
Yep.
Now he got claimed and DFA'd and claimed again. I think he's now with the Yankees, but it's it's the floor of the roster has been raised. There's not a ton of room for guys uh, to wait on guys, and the Rangers always add some guys at the deadline for the Rule 5 draft. So they get on the 40 man like Emiliano Teodo. Um, so he becomes an option, for whenever a starter or a reliever is needed if he's doing well.
Sure.
So it's a tricky game, but not being on the 40 man at this point is not a death blow, if you will. I
No.
mean, the Rangers will go get you if you're doing good.
Yeah. There's different ways they can go. That's look. You mentioned Cole Winn. That's someone whose rear end might be puckered up right now. That look, it's a do or die year for him. There's a point where they're going to say, it just maybe somewhere else is where you might work out. And your 40-man spot's too important to us. Now he's had some success out of the bullpen. That's another guy to watch. Cole's a guy this year that really needs to put up. He's got to something's got to figure out, and he's got to get rolling.
Yeah, you kind of look at the 40 man roster, and um, I forgot about for Jose Corniel. He'll be a 60-day guy. Josh Sborz will be a 60-day guy.
Sure.
But the Rangers' first offseason signing of any to a big league deal was a guy named Luis Curvelo. He's never pitched above Double A, but he was a hot commodity on the free agent market, and so the Rangers signed him. Um, it's almost like a Rule 5 pick, except he doesn't have to stay on the roster. They can
Right.
they can option him back and forth. Um, there's El Carabito again. Just Jacob Latz pitched great, meaningful innings for the Rangers last year. Walt Pennington, who we've had on our show, we've had Latz on our show. So you're looking at guys who have done something in the big leagues, who are fighting for a job and could end up in AAA. And
Yep.
then, shoot, who knows what's happens like you're saying at that point, we need a roster spot.
Yep.
So if I'm any of them, I'm not comfortable.
Yep. Yeah, without a doubt. Okay. So in your 3 days, you've watched a lot of bullpens. Anything stand out? Was there anybody you were like, okay, looks good, whatever? I mean, they're not going full gas right now, but anybody out there that maybe you saw a little something on it or looked good or smooth or good to see them out there? Anything like that?
Yeah, we just talked about him. I thought Cole Winn's bullpen yesterday was really good. I
Yeah.
watched that. He was, locating his pitches, had some zip on him. So he's one of them. I've watched a lot of guys, and I don't want to say they're going through the motions. It's interesting to see how they prepare. Cody Bradford yesterday, I thought had a good bullpen, and you know you get to see how he. Uh, Practices basically. He was throwing that to all quadrants and throwing a bunch of pitches, and so that was interesting to see. I think he's going to be in the rotation, I really do. So I haven't had the chance to watch as many of the younger guys like Robbie and Cole Drake, who was on the show last week, and
Right.
but I definitely will do that before I leave out of here on the next Friday. So, um, you know, they just, I said this on the weekly show yesterday. They all look good.
Right.
They all look like they can go out and dominate, but um, obviously they all can. There are guys who are here on non-roster deals for a reason, and maybe they figured something out, maybe not. But it's interesting that you see these guys who are all throwing very, very hard and whose breaking pitches all move a lot. And it's why there's professional scouts and coaches and all that, because they can sort these guys out. Where
Right.
somebody who uh, doesn't have a as trained an eye like myself, um, you know, wonders why isn't this guy, why hasn't he stuck? So, but it'll all sort itself out. Games start Friday, so you'll start seeing a lot of these guys in game action. And again, don't get too caught up in the results the first couple weeks.
Never.
Um, and uh,
And
you know,
Jacob
after
deGrom's stat line is not going to be in the box score because he is not going to throw in a big league game for a little bit. He'll start out on backfields because that's what they do.
sure, but knowing him, he may want to go. He may want to face the I don't know whoever's on the schedule. He
The
may want to
Reds,
face he
somebody's
may
not going
want
to.
to face their big league hitters. So
Yeah.
um, but yeah, there will be a lot of backfield time for these guys, and that's an opportunity for people who are coming down to really get up close, and it'll be free. So
Yeah.
um, that's always a nice surprise when you're walking back there, like, oh, he's pitching up back here today. Okay, great. Um, but yeah, we're getting closer and closer, and again, the position players are starting to show up. So um, we can dive into that stuff next show. We don't want to waste it all here, but you're gonna have the center field situation that's gonna be front and center, and um, but really that's kind of it as far as the regulars. You want to see, you know, does the center field position end up sucking Wyatt Langford to the position? Um, but after that, it's how good can Jake Berger be at first base? Can Josh Young stay healthy? Um, how are things up the middle with the Iron Man and Simeon and then Corey having a spring training this year after not having one last year? He is coming off a hernia surgery. I know he said everything's fine, but let's see it. You want to see Kyle Higashioka, who's been catching bullpens, obviously, but see him in game action. And, he's a great defensive player, but they saw the bat last year take off and hope that it sustains itself, and they believe it will. So there are a lot of those little questions. Ezekiel Duran, Josh Smith, what ends up happening with those two. So, but there's not a huge storyline hanging over the position players. I think who's going to be the closer, and then how's Jacob deGrom, and what's going to happen with Rocker and Leiter. I think those are the kind of the three big questions of camp, even bigger than anything on the position player side.
Yeah, and until position players get there, that's all you're going to be watching this weekend is the bullpens to find that out. I mean, look, as of right now, it's pretty apparent that this is what they're going with. The closer they're going to use right now, most likely, is in this clubhouse right now. I don't know that there's still. I mean, look, there is still a couple of names out there. Robertson's still out there. I don't know, but they tend to be just kind of going with what they got right now. They like what they've got, and maybe just to kind of watch what happens during this spring training and who gets let go by other teams.
Yeah, they could sign somebody to a major league deal. When we talked to Chris Young on Wednesday, though, he said that nothing was imminent or pending, and no real momentum toward anything there. More so on the, maybe some guys signing minor league deals and coming in. There's a lot of veteran pitchers, veteran relievers out there who could help the team. It's just a matter of getting them into camp at the right price. And so can a major league contract be doled out to somebody this week, this next week, next month? Sure. I mean, what Michael Lorenzen didn't sign until the second to last day of camp last year.
Yeah.
Will Smith was a March 1st signee in 23. Robbie Grossman signed. It was before the first full squad workout, but it was after pitchers and catchers had started working out. So, it's just kind of the way it is this year. I mean, shoot, you just saw. Alex Bregman signed. Obviously, he's going to get to camp before the Red Sox position players have to report, but that's a late signing. You saw last year all those late signings. So
Sure.
the game has changed a little bit here. Free agency has changed. It's hard to be a guy who's, I don't want to say borderline, but I think teams look at some guys and are like, oh, we could get him on a minor league deal. Jake Diekman, our buddy Jake Diekman, who's great against left-handers. Just signed a minor league deal with the Braves. So,
Hey,
again, I don't know that this roster is necessarily set in stone right now.
Well, yeah, it's not set in stone, but what I'm saying is they're letting the game come to them now. This is where they're
Yeah.
going in, and if nothing falls to them, they're ready to go with this roster right now to open the season. That's what my point is. Certainly, they're always looking to make this team better. That's just reality. Um,
Yeah.
but but they're okay if nothing falls to them. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. They're ready to go with what they got.
Yeah. And there are opportunities to add during the season.
Sure,
If something needs to happen, you can make a change at the trade deadline. You can try to jump the gun on the trade deadline, and the Rangers traded for Aroldis Chapman on June 29th, a full month before the trade deadline.
sure.
Last year they traded for Robbie Grossman in early May. So a motivated buyer, motivated seller, you can find a matchup.
Yeah. Well, and I noticed also on the hitting side of it, our old buddy Joey Gallo ended up signing a minor league deal with the Chicago White Sox. So that
Yeah,
just tells you what this league is. What is Joey, about 31, 32 years old?
I think he's
Um,
31 now. Yeah,
and we know the power he's got. He's got some pop. He's never really put together that season that everyone expected or thought coming into it. But that's a guy that, who knows? This is another change of scenery. He's got a non-roster inviting. Will Venables, the manager there. I don't know that did he really even have much. Joey was
they
gone.
knew each other. Will was acquired by the Rangers in 15 to help out down the stretch, and Joey was um, around the team at that time. So they probably know each other. It's not like they're best buddies, but
Right.
I think that I hope Joey makes their team. There's no pressure.
Nope.
He doesn't have to
Good
worry
guy.
about anything. He can go out there and be himself. Maybe find a comfort zone like he had here. Um, he can't. He strikes out so much as we know. He doesn't hit for a high average as we know. He's a great defensive player. He plays hard. He might be a good example for some of these young guys. So,
Sure.
um, but
Hey, that's a guy too. Depending on what happens with this Rangers team, you're looking at somebody that if spots open, what happens? That could be a backup first baseman, guy like that. That's not going to happen. But what I'm saying is, he's got a chance over with them. He's a natural outfielder. He has played infield. He was drafted as a third baseman when he first came up. He's played over on that
yeah,
side of the diamond, but got to get his bat going. And, it's not just about home runs. I like to see it. I like Joey. He was always friendly to me when I knew him from back when he was here. One of the best trades the Rangers ever made, what they got back for it. Every one of them, except for Halver, ended up making the big leagues. And we don't even –
yeah,
is Halver still
yeah.
here?
Oh yeah, he's a non-roster invitee. He hasn't I haven't seen him yet, but he's going to be in camp. So his chance is coming.
Yep.
You think so? Anyway, yeah, that was a good trade. I don't know if it's the best trade ever made. The best trade is probably the share trade, but
Yeah, oh, yeah.
um,
It's not the best trade. I'm saying that's a good
yeah,
trade.
but it's a very good trade. Yeah,
They've
because
gotten some. They won that trade. It's not even close. That's the good
yeah,
way to do it.
yeah. Although I do wonder though. Joey did not want to be traded. He did want to be traded to New York. I just wonder if he had stayed here, what would have become of him? Because
Sure.
he wasn't hitting 300, but he was hitting like 230, which for
Yeah.
Joey is 300.
Yeah.
And hitting home runs and comfortable and playing Gold Glove defense. So that could kind of go as a what if. Not that they're definitely not missing the player he is now, but would he have been a 35 to 40 homer guy who hit 230, struck out a ton, but played really good defense? Could he have been that player
Sure.
um, for a long stretch and for a longish stretch? Well, maybe. I don't know.
Well, what do you think? Should we get Robbie in here?
Yeah, yeah. Looking forward to it. He's a good guy. Yeah, we'll get into how I met him in the off season and everything, but
All right.
yeah, good guy.
All right. Robbie Ahlstrom right after this, guys. right, guys, and joining us right now from Surprise, Arizona's Texas Rangers left-handed pitcher, Robbie Ahlstrom. Robbie, what's going on, buddy?
How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. You know, this one means a lot, a little more personal to me because I met you in the off season. You were living in Mansfield, and you ended up throwing at least part of the off season at the same facility where my son plays. So, TBT baseball welcomed you with open arms. I'm hoping, and I got to see you throw. So I've seen you throw here, but it's like, hey, it's no big deal. I've seen this guy throw a lot.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was great. Yeah, everyone over at TBT uh, went above and beyond. Everything there at the facility was great, and got a lot out of it this off season. So that was cool. And then yeah, meeting you there, and then seeing you out in spring. So that was a
Yeah.
good off season.
What how did you find out about them? I know you were staying, I think you said with friends in Mansfield working out. How did you hear about TBT?
Yeah, so the my living situation, it was actually middle of the year when we kind of, or middle of the season last season when we were figuring it out. And then we met the neighbors of where I was going to be staying, and they're good friends with Ryan over at TBT, and they recommended.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, if you want to stay out here, we have a place you can work out. Like, we'll get you in contact. So ended up getting his number, gave him a call, and then it kind of just worked out from there. So it all
Yeah.
fell together pretty nicely.
Yeah, so the last time I saw you out there, you were on your way to here for a pitching mini camp, and then boom, they tell you you're going to be a non-roster invite. So, how cool was that moment for you?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was, I mean, a mixture of excitement. Obviously, this is my first time with an official invite and stuff. So like, been working for this my entire life. So hearing that, like, super cool. Couldn't wait to tell my family, my brother, my mom, my dad, all of them, and then my friends. So yeah, it was super cool when I got the call. And then kind of switched gears right after that to, okay, it's time to get back to work.
Yeah.
So and then now we're here.
Yeah. So, we're 3 days into camp. You throwing a couple bullpens or just the one?
Just the one in camp.
Okay. How are you acclimating with all these guys? I mean, you're not just pitching, and you're doing PFPs with guys and all that stuff. And of course, you know a lot of them from being with the Rangers, but I know you're meeting some new guys too. How's it going?
Yeah, so I came for the mini camp like 3 weeks ago, and I stayed through that. Once I got the big league invite, I said I'm just going to stay here and work out here. So that took care of like getting used to Arizona, the weather, the climate, all of that. Like, I feel comfortable around the facilities. I know where everything's at. So like that helped big with that. And then I mean, I have some good people in my corner. Danny Duffy being one of them. Like, he's given me like the lay of the land, like the do's, the don'ts. Like, he's been a great mentor, a great friend when it comes to like just looking out for me. Knowing what to expect going in is a huge part of it. And stuff. I'm still learning how to navigate everything and stuff on my own. But like, just having people like that in my corner has been huge. And then having like the older guys like Evaldi like come up to me day one, talk to me about my splitter. Like, I didn't even know he knew I was throwing a splitter. So like stuff like that, like, it makes it a lot easier, and you feel a lot more comfortable in the locker room. So I mean, it's been great so far. Hasn't been super anything out of the ordinary, right? Same game. So PFPs, throwing bullpens and stuff. I know how to do all that. So it's about just going out there and trusting that.
I think that guys who throw splitters, there must be like a radar, and they just know. And this guy knows, and not only does he know, Nathan, he'll teach guys. Like our
Yeah.
church swears that he throws a splitter now because of Vivaldi and Kirby Yates. Even they talked about it last year. And Kirby Yates turns into an all-star, changes his grip a little bit. So, but Nathan's awesome. He just sits and watches bullpens. He watched everybody throw yesterday, it's fun. This is a guy who just loves to pitch. So, if you got him in your corner, and then we met Danny Duffy last year and absolutely loved him. We
Yeah.
absolutely love the guy. How long have you known him?
I met him 2 years ago. He was in Double A when I got called up. Right away, just like kind of drawn towards him. Started picking his brain and stuff, and then turned into going golfing on the off days. And Sooner or later led to a group text, and I mean we talk pretty much every day now. So him and I have gotten pretty close, and I mean that's, like I said, great friend, but huge mentor to have in your corner.
Yeah, he's about the nicest guy.
Yeah,
Everybody
Oh
talked
man.
about what a great teammate he was, and
yeah,
uh, we were trying to get him on our show last spring. It just didn't work out. But what a dude! I mean, and you run across these guys, and you caught him toward the end of his career, as did we. Shit, he was a great pitcher with the
yeah,
Royals.
yeah.
You know, so okay, so for those of us, not us, but people watching who haven't been out to Frisco or Round Rock and seen you throw. Um, Besides the splitter, what else are you what else are you throwing up there?
Yeah, I got a four-seam fastball, kind of like a gyro slider. I think people are calling it like a death ball nowadays. I still call it a slider, and then a curveball. So those are the four. Splitter's relatively new, so it's coming along. But I'd say like bread and butter would be the fastball, slider, curveball.
Okay, yeah. And then you had a heck of a year last year.
Yeah.
Not just what you did at Frisco. You were pretty good in the Pacific Coast League, which is A, better hitters, B, ABS, and then you've got it's so pitcher friendly, all these state ballparks. How did you feel about your last year, and did you think that maybe this was a possibility this spring?
I missed that last part.
Did you think this was a possibility this spring based on last year?
Yeah, I mean, I got off to a good start. I think in years prior, first couple outings in pro ball haven't been great, so it's almost playing catch up. This year, I was off to a good start. My body was feeling good. I felt like I was in a really good spot mentally, and just I had a lot of success early on, and wanted to just build on that. Like, not necessarily need to try to do too much more. Just continue to just be consistent. And I saw that my stuff was playing at a high level, so it's like just trust that. Try and get my arm and like arm care so that I feel good every day, so that I can replicate that. And I was able to do that. And I got the call up to AAA, and just try to take the mindset like, hey, like I'm here for a reason. My stuff got me here, like my performance and stuff, like all of that. Just try and be the same pitcher. And I mean, it carried over. Like you said, it's a tough league to pitch in. I mean, the altitude's probably the hardest. I mean, the ball flies, but also your pitches do a lot of different things when the air's thin, when it's like a desert climate. So I mean, there was a learning curve with that, but I felt like I handled that pretty well. And then, yeah, I felt like I put myself in a really good position to set myself up to potentially get a big league invite, and then ended up getting the call. So, I mean, I was optimistic about it. Still, when I got the call, it was still super exciting.
Yeah. I don't know, John, if you can hear what's happening in the background, but it's the college tournament that they play here every spring, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's Robbie's hated rivals, I'm assuming.
Oh, is
Oregon
it Oregon
State
State?
playing right now,
No,
but
I
dang.
actually, I love Oregon State. They're the easiest guys I ever faced. I got two pitchers a week
Oh.
against them. Yeah, I love them.
Well, they bring a crowd, man. It's crazy
Yeah.
the crowd that they bring out here. Hey, but you did go to Oregon. That's kind of the joke there. Played with Aaron Zavala. Um, Drafted in the seventh round. I know I'm stepping on John. I'm stepping on your toes here, but
What are you doing?
uh, when someone I was told that when you came here, you were a multi-slot guy. You would throw from different arm angles, and um, it seems like you've settled in on just one. Was that something that the Rangers asked, or did you just find a comfort zone with that?
That was like my second year in pro ball. We are just messing around with some things, honestly, in the bullpen, and one of the pitching coaches suggested like, hey, like throw some from down here, and it was like getting good results and stuff. And I kind of started bringing that into games, and I had success with it for a little while, but um, it was tough to get comfortable. It was tough to get enough reps doing three different arm slots, throwing different pitches out of those and stuff, and then ended up struggling a little bit at the beginning of 23, and decided to go back over the top again. And then I had success there, and velocity started to kick up, and felt more comfortable with that. So I'm gonna stick with this for a while and see how it goes. And ended up having success. Velocity was increasing, all that, and I was able to just perfect the craft a little bit more. So. that's kind of how I got back to it.
Yeah, well, there are iPad guys with the iPads, and there's guys like Mike Maddox who doesn't necessarily rely on that stuff. And at some point, you got to learn how to pitch,
Yeah,
and then so it sounds like that's kind of what you're doing here.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So you know, you're in big league spring training. Um, everybody here, I guess you wouldn't be here if you didn't have a chance at the major leagues this year, if not on opening day. Can you really feel that the major leagues is not too far away for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm knocking at the door. Felt like that last year. I felt like the only thing kind of holding me back was maybe just like the experience and the consistency. Because I put together a good year last year and stuff. I just need to be able to prove to them that I can do that consistently year in year out. But I mean, I put together a complete season last year. Had coordinators, had coaches and stuff saying like, you have big league stuff, like trust it, like you're gonna get there. So like that's reassuring. They're not just saying that to anybody, right? So that's like reassuring to hear. And then just, I mean, the off season I put together, I was preparing for a job, right? Like I
Yeah,
had the expectation that I was gonna get a big league invite. And now that I got it, it's like I put together a great off season. Like I worked hard, fine tuned some things and stuff. So I'm coming into camp really confident. And it's like, I mean, it's opportunity, right? Like, I don't know
hmm
how big of opportunity I have, but every opportunity I get, I'm gonna try and take advantage of that. And I mean, still no guarantees. Might start back in AAA, but like if I go out there and just do my thing, like make a good impression on the coaches, on the staff, all of that, then like I think that'll lead to success inevitably down the road.
I would think that it would help a guy in your situation and some of the younger guys also who you played with last year. That Jordan Teagues is now the bullpen coach. It just seems like there's a familiarity that you would have with him, but also that he would have with you, and he's going to be able to uh, be in your guys' corners. When it comes time for, oh man, we just used 8 relievers. We need somebody tomorrow. Seems like that's a good guy to have on your side, and he knows his stuff, obviously.
Yeah, no, it's huge. I've come up my pretty much my entire minor league career. I've had him. So like having him in my corner, like you said, is huge, and he's familiar with me. He knows how I operate, like what gets me going, stuff like that. So he knows how to talk to me when it's explaining like a new pitch grip or mentality, whatever it is. Like he knows how to talk to me. I know how to talk to him. So like there's a comfort level with that, knowing that like when I get the call, I'm gonna have a familiar face in the bullpen, stuff like that. So yeah, it's huge having him up there, and I'm sure he's advocating for the guys that he's kind of helped grow throughout this minor league process.
Okay. So our show, how we typically do it, is I ask the questions I just asked, and then John kind of gets a little more personal. He's not going to ask you about your love life or anything, but he is going to ask you some questions as we try to get to know players a little deeper level.
Yeah.
Fire away, John.
Okay, so tell me about your love life. No, I'm just kidding.
It is Valentine's Day, so
Yeah.
That's right, baby.
not too inappropriate.
Yeah. Well, actually, my daughter is it's her birthday too, so that's the most expensive day of my year
Oh geez.
is Valentine's Day. She's 27 today. Okay, so first of all, you grew up in Oregon, right? You're from Eugene. You went to North Eugene High School. Is that where you went?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, in high school, let me ask you this: did you play anything else, or were you just a baseball guy?
I played quite a few other things. I played football, I wrestled, and then for 1 year I was on the swim team.
So, what did you play in football?
I was a free safety and slot receiver.
No kid, I was a slot receiver too. Did you play all the way through high school, or just a couple years?
Yeah, I played all 4 years in high school in football.
You're what are you 6'2"? Did you get recruited at all for football?
I didn't. I was actually, I'd say I was probably still 5'10" my senior year of high school, 135 pounds. So nobody was looking for me. I had a D2 offer, like a small school in Oregon, but I mean,
to,
it
to play
was,
like to play football?
Yeah, it was a preferred walk on though, so I still would have been
Oh,
paying. It wasn't no scholarship offer. So
Okay, well that's
so
pretty interesting. Yeah.
wrestling. You're our first wrestler.
really,
Yeah, nobody else has wrestled. And my dad always told me from a very young age, don't mess with wrestlers. So I hope we
Yeah.
never get cross, Robbie.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. So coming out of high school in baseball, you ended up going to, let me see if I'm saying this right. Chimakita, is that right?
Chemeketa.
Chemeketa Community College. That's where you went before you ended up going to the University of Oregon. So that's where you got recruited to, or where you signed. Did you have any other baseball schools that were looking at you at all? And let me ask this: you also hit some, right? You bat too. Were you more recruited as a hitter or a pitcher?
I had one other offer from a junior college in Eugene, Lane Community College, and then I had Simpson University, private Christian school in Northern California. And that was pretty much it. Ended up going to Chemeketa. I was familiar with the program because my older brother, he's 2 years older than me, he went there. So I was familiar with kind of like the campus and stuff. Knew it was a good school for like development in Oregon, pretty close to home. And then I got recruited as a pitcher mainly, and I ended up putting together the summer ball before I went to college. Put together a pretty good season at the plate. So I talked to the coaches. I was like, "Hey, like, can I take a shot at it? Like, whatever it is." And it was kind of a grind with the schedule because I was doing 7 different things a day, doing all the position player stuff, like all the base running, fielding, hitting, and then I'd go with the pitchers, throw my bullpens and all of that. And I mean,
Okay.
430 conditioning, weights after that. Like it was a lot, but
So how many years were you at Chemeketa? Were you one, two?
just my freshman year. And then
Okay.
I
And
transferred
then
to Oregon after that.
now, did you get a scholarship going to Oregon? Was it that good of a year at Chemeketa that you got a scholarship, or walk on preferred, something like that?
Yeah, no, I had a really good first year at Chemeketa. Ended up getting All American honors for utility, so I like to brag about that when I'm fielding PFPs. I'm like I was a good first baseman too. So, but and then Oregon and Oregon State both offered me middle of the summer. I got 55% my first year from Oregon, and then Oregon State was a little less. But I was pretty confident in my decision that I was going to go to Oregon, regardless of the scholarship difference.
No,
So I ended up
Did you
go
live at home?
I did live at home my first year.
Okay.
Yeah, it was I signed pretty late. I was like 3 days before school.
Oh, okay.
Had some transcript things going on, and it took me a while to get accepted. We had to go back to high school because Chemeketa, none of the credits I took my freshman year transferred over. So there was
Oh,
a little deal
jeez.
with that.
okay.
Set me back in school too. I had to pretty much redo my freshman year.
Oh wow, but you were at a big school, so that was good. Now, Zavala, is he your age? Are you guys about the same age?
Um, he's a year younger than me, just
Okay,
barely though, because he was draft eligible sophomore, I believe. Um, yeah, I think he was old for his grade, but we came into Oregon at the same time.
same time. Okay, so were you guys running buddies at all, or just were you playing the field much at Oregon, or just mainly pitching?
I didn't. As soon as I committed to Oregon, I was actually still two wing during summer ball. As soon as I made that commitment, they're like, "All right, don't let him in the field anymore.
Okay,
He's coming here as a pitcher." So I
you
didn't do anything like that at Oregon. But
what are you 6'3" now? So you must have had a spurt there somewhere.
yeah, freshman year, junior college, it started growing. Got to like 6'1", 6'2", put on some weight, not a ton, but I put on some, and velocity stuff like that started to kick up a little bit, and so just started filling out a little bit.
Okay, so
All
then,
right.
so the next for guys that are wondering, so Robbie, you're a bullpen guy. The year you had last year was amazing. I mean, look at this. You were in Double A and Triple A last year. You had 45 games, 64 innings, 72 strikeouts, 2.53 ERA. You even saved 4 games last year doing that. So look, a lot of talk on this big league team this year is the bullpen. And Jeff and I had talked about this every week, that there are a lot of arms that are going to be coming up and down, and in the way that they use their bullpen, you got a great shot at making your big league debut this year. In fact, I think there's a good shot that you're going to do that. Let me ask you this: so you're at Oregon. What year at Oregon are you starting to think, "Oh my gosh, I might be a pro ball player"? When did you realize you had scouts looking at you?
I put together a pretty good first year there. I started in the bullpen, and within a couple of weeks, I was in the starting rotation. Put together some good starts, and then, a little bit of luck on my end of some unfortunate injuries that happened to some of our starters that gave me opportunity. Um, but like I took advantage of those opportunities and worked my way up and finished the year. I think second half of the year I was in the Friday night role, and then just tried to take that momentum. Obviously COVID happened, it cut our season short, but then the following year, like established myself as the Friday guy. Um,
Wow.
went out there, but I would say like when I really believed like I was good enough for a pro ball was I played in the Cape Cod over the summer. Had a
Hmm.
bunch of eyes on me. I had some agents approach me asking like if they could represent me, and I was like, oh, this is this is really cool. Like
Yeah.
maybe I do have a shot. Yeah, and then just playing with those guys, like they're super talented, but I'm like I got just as good, if not better, stuff than they do, stuff like that, and so it's just
And,
yeah.
and you throw it with that left hand too. That's always, there's a lot of people that like that too. Okay. So you go there. Now for those that don't know, you're drafted in the 7th round by the New York Yankees in 2021. I got to ask you this. Some guys go to New York or wherever they're having the draft and they sit around and they come up to the stage and do all that. A lot of guys like you yourself weren't wherever they had the draft most likely. Where were you at when the draft happened? How did you find out you'd been taken?
I was in my college house. We had a duplex, 3 guys on one side, 2 on the other. And then my roommate, Kenyon Yovan, he's with the Angels. And then 2 other guys, my good buddies, Colin Kafka and Hunter Bro. One's with the A's, one was with the Rockies. We all got together, had a little watch party. We had family, friends over. And I mean, it was pretty cool. It was a cool experience, like having my brother there because like grew up playing with him, and then having all my close college teammates, my family there. So it was
Now,
a cool experience.
Did anybody from the Yankees call you before you're taken, or do you just watch your name pop up and then all of a sudden you get a call?
No, they called my agent the morning of the day 2 draft, and they're like, Robbie's on our board. We're not sure exactly when we're going to take him, but if he's available and it's like the right pick, we're gonna take them. So I going into the day, like had the Yankees on my list, and they called me in the fifth round, like, hey, will you sign? I was like, yes. Didn't pick me, pick someone else. They called me in the 6th, like, hey, will you sign? I go, yes, take me. Didn't take me. And then seventh round, they go, we're actually going to take you this time. I was like, yeah, whatever.
Whatever. Yeah.
And then, sure enough, my name came up on the TV, so I believed in them. But yeah, it was really cool.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
good.
Well,
That's good
here's the
stuff.
other fun one we always get to ask for those that don't know how Robbie Ahlstrom came to the Texas Rangers. He was a part of the Jose Trevino trade.
You
From
almost said
the
Lee Trevino.
Do what? I almost said Lee Trevino. I know,
That's
but the
right.
Jose Trevino trade. Now that's another one that's always interesting to me because it was very early. The opening it was right in like April 2nd was when you got traded. So you're probably getting ready to go off to whatever affiliate you're about to go to. Where are you at, and how do you find out you've been moved?
Oh, I knew this one was coming. I was I was in my apartment. My bags were packed because it was the last day of for spring training for us. I didn't know where I was going yet, but knew I had to get out of the hotel that I was in. Um, and I was just on the couch with my roommate. We were playing some video games, and I get an Instagram notification that says "Good luck in Texas." It was a Yankees news source. I was like, that's kind of strange. And then not even 30 seconds later, I get a phone call. They explained that I was getting traded to the Rangers and stuff, and it was really surprising because I hadn't played a single inning in pro ball yet. So I was like, why am I getting traded? It didn't really make much sense to me. Um, Called my agent just to confirm, and he said, yeah, like I just got the news and stuff, and so ended up playing along with the Instagram comments a little bit, and made it kind of made it look like I got traded on Instagram. But yeah, I called my family and stuff after that, and had about 6 hours to go to the stadium, clean out my locker, get on a flight, and then went straight to down east, the low A affiliate, and met the team there, and been a Ranger ever since.
Yeah, guys
Well,
you've never played with, so that's where you show up.
why didn't you pitch in 21 for the in the Yankee system?
The COVID pushed the draft back. Obviously, it shortened the rounds to 5, and then the following year, the year I
Yeah.
got drafted, was 20. But it pushed it back, and after our season got over, pretty much every scout I talked to said to just shut it down. Just because I'd thrown like around 100 innings that year, and
Uh-huh.
stuff. So I shut it down. Wasn't ramped up. So when I got drafted, I went over, and they were still going to use me as a starter. The Yankees were, so they didn't see like the value in building me back up for 1 to 2 starts. So they ended up just shutting me
Sure.
down. I was at the facility every day working out and stuff, focused on like strength and development in that area. But yeah, that's why I didn't throw with them.
All right. Sounds
Okay.
good.
All right, so now we get to this. We always got to ask about food. So you grew up in Oregon. You're a Northwest guy. So if you have to, yeah, I know you guys have nutritionists, everybody that helps you with what you're doing. But if you have to get something fast food, what is your go-to? Where are you going to grab something to eat?
I think we have 2 now in Oregon, and they're not really close to me, but any opportunity I get to get In-N-Out Burger, I'm gonna take it.
Uh-oh.
It's dangerous because there's one right down
Right
the road
here.
from where I'm at. I've only had it once since I've been here. I've been being good, but I mean, if I've had a if I've had a like rough outing, whatever it is, I'm like, that's my comfort food. It's In-N-Out.
In and out. Have you had a Whataburger? You've been in Texas last year in 2 spots. What did you think?
I have had Whataburger, and I will say that In-N-Out is far better, and that's just my opinion. But
They're
Hey,
fighting words with John.
yeah, yeah.
no. That's actually not. I actually like In-N-Out Burger. I grew up a Whataburger guy though, so I like Whataburger. But unlike a lot of people it's either one or the other. I do like Whataburger more, probably because I'm more used to Whataburger. But I like In-N-Out Burgers. I don't deny that I like In-N-Out Burgers. They are good.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: if if you're at home and somebody's cooking you your favorite home cooked meal, what is it? What are they cooking for you?
Um, Thanksgiving was always the best. My mom would always make the dinner. I mean, she'd make a great mashed potatoes and gravy. That'd probably be my favorite side. And then just food like that. She'd make everything from scratch. The gravy from scratch to put on the turkey. So it's probably that would be my go-to.
Well, now you said you're a golfer, so you go play golf, hunting, fishing. What do you do in your spare time? What do you like to do? Video games?
Yeah, I mean, spare time hard to come by, but golf takes up a majority of it. I like to do a lot of fishing. I probably do more fishing than I do hunting nowadays. It's tough too. I haven't been as much as I want, but yeah, being outdoors, fishing, stuff like that. Went to quite a few concerts, sporting events this off season. Saw a Stars game,
Okay.
Cowboys game. Went to a couple cool concerts. Went saw Creed. Thought that was appropriate. So
Yeah, very appropriate.
yeah,
So, what's your music? You like country music? You like the pop alt rock? What do you like? Rock, hip hop?
I'd say country and rock are probably my top 2, but I listen to a variety of different things. Even I mean Latin music's coming more into the mix. When you get in pro
Yeah.
ball, you got to listen to that. So might as well try and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So, look, we're going to get you out of here. So, one of the things we always do before we get somebody out of here is we ask them this question, and I'll give you an example so you can kind of know what it is. It's what's something that nobody knows about Robbie Ahlstrom. Now, I'll give you some hints at what other guys have done. You've got people like your general manager, Chris Young, who tells us that he's really into those true crime documentaries. So he likes like the first 48. When he gets downtime, that's kind of his comfort to do that. We had guys on this team that aren't anymore. One of them got his finger cut off one time, had to put it back on. And that was Davis Wenzel. We got Blaine Krim, who you may know,
Oh yeah.
who talks about he used to take batting practice naked when he was 5 years old or something to that effect. And what is something nobody knows about Robbie Ahlstrom?
I don't know if there's anything that nobody knows about me. No. Family know pretty much everything, but I think something that might surprise people is I'm related to Johnny Cash.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. That's
now
that's
how?
he's a distant cousin. I don't think it's blood. My mom and her sisters. did the ancestry thing one time and ended up tracking it all the way back to him, which was pretty cool because my great grandma, when she was still alive, she'd always talk about cousin Johnny, and we're like, yeah, she's just crazy. But sure enough, there was some truth to that. So yeah, I'd say that's the fun fact.
What's your favorite Johnny Cash song?
Ring of
Probably
Fire.
Devil's Right Hand right now.
Yeah, that's a good one too. There you go. Well, listen, Robbie. Look, you guys are busy. You're in you're beginning spring training. You just reported, so it's really nice of you to stop down and do that. Jeff's going to be there the rest of this week. I'll be out the first week of March, so I'll come up and find you and say hello when I get there. But we really appreciate you taking the time, and of course, when the season starts too, we'll see you one way or the other. We usually make a trip to Round Rock. When you get to the big leagues, we'll see you there because we'll be in the clubhouse. But we appreciate you taking the time, bud.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
right,
thanks
guys,
again. And
what?
I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, yes, sir.
See you in the morning. Guys, that's Robbie Ahlstrom, left-hand pitcher for the Texas Rangers. That's it for this show. We appreciate it. For Jeff Williams, Robbie Ahlstrom, and myself, guys, until next time, see you at the yard.